All right. Okay, ladies. I don't know if there's any ladies. So, gentlemen, I don't know if there might be. So, tonight, just wanted to, for anybody that wanted to come in, show Memphis. There are a lot of isolations, a lot of bad shots, a lot of not great, but they got away with it because they were talented. But some things to look at on it, and we can, if you want me to stop something, rewind it, pause it, just unmute yourself and say, hey, Mark, can you go back on that? Or I have a question about that. Just want to keep it as much open as I can, and anyone that wants to ask questions tonight, and I'll do my best to answer them, or Kurt may be able to answer them as well, or anybody else might be able to answer them that runs Dribble Drive. So the order of the clips go from their last game that they played down. I mean, I don't know how long we'll go, maybe an hour, but I think it's like 1,900 offensive possessions loaded here. All right.
Everything from the backcourt. It's interesting they've got Rush on steals in his last 13 games and already won tonight. Almost were able to make a theft off of Rose. Anderson left alone. That spins out.
Okay.
Game, and they hold opponents right to
so they're in their quick series here. So quick series means he passes and he goes opposite. They tilt the floor. They unbalance it. So it gives you a baseline drive or a middle drive. And they're always trying to get the ball to Derrick Rose or Douglas Roberts at the top of the key, or in an advantage situation to drive. So here's your tilted floor. So he went weak side, so you could see empty corner. So they elevate him and throw it to him. It's just purely an ISO on the wing.
80-point game. Douglas Roberts now puts up the long shot. And Rush got right in his face. Ball tipped over and back to Kansas. Robinson popped to the top. Arthur getting very good
again,
position.
same thing. But they went kick up. And when they went kick back, now you got a downhill area with no corner. But see what I said? They want to they give him an opportunity to get the ball on the wing. And if he isn't able to go, they go kick back, give it back to him. And there's like a loop blur. And now they're going to get it to Rose for a potential downhill. He went weak side. So you can have your player go strong, or you can have your player go weak. It's kind of, Memphis has a lot, Calipariisms have a lot of go opposites, not Phil saying.
The Carolina hopes. There's Dozier left open for the jumper. And so those numbers are
quick.
Almost amazing for two teams of this magnitude.
He's going to do the same thing, I think. He's going to pass.
By only fractions on the season. Will that be the
Get
case
the ball
tonight?
back to their playmaker.
Here in Texas. That's Rose taking his first
here, that's
shot
just
at the
pure ISO. They're just trying to get it to 2 rounds. There's a set play.
See what he does? He goes over on Anderson. So they're going to say,
I like this one. Put the ball to your best player at the elbow.
You can be a 25-point per game scorer.
So Rose, whistle. I think this was out of off of a free throw or a call situation.
25-point per game scorer. Rose, whistle.
Bring it back further. Okay, so get ball reversal.
So they're going to say,
emptied out the weak side, trying to get him an elbow touch. Rip and play.
You can be a 25-point per game scorer. Rose, a whistle, and a basket. On the 3 of Rush.
So you see that? Somebody asked the other night on our course if it's calls or signals. Watch, he stomps his foot, and that tells him to cut through. That's a little blur loop nail screen. Didn't get anything. Wants to get it back.
Again, watch this. He does not want him to go right. Taggart hit this shot Saturday, not this time. Dorsey touched it last.
Not a lot of flowing with them. They get in the paint and throw one pass. because they're that talented.
They know each other extremely well. I think we're going to see Collins
Loop.
put the ball on the floor and make Rose have to play some defense.
So there's your throwback action, guys. They initiated it with the loop. Do a kick up, throwback, post.
The other way.
Went over that with some great campy stuff on Thursday night. Out of bounds play. If it doesn't work, they just flow right into DDM. That's a push cut. Tilt the floor. Now they have it with him. So now they got their two best players in a great situation.
The nail biter over Davidson. Here's Rose over Collins.
We're not going to be able to do that in high school unless you got a stud. Back them down.
Kansas going inside, forcing Memphis big guys to half play. A little double team by Kahn.
A lot of clear.
Kahn out there right now for Jackson. Again, it's Douglas Robertson rush matched up.
Isolating the post now.
And looks like a little zone defense played by Kansas. And jumper this time. No. He has 6 of their 9. Would have given them the lead.
See it in transition here.
Looks like Douglas Robertson with a good defensive rebound there, using his length.
Okay. Drew a foul. Shot it with 3 guys on him.
Because now Rose has got to play both ends of the floor, and Collins is strong enough.
Head tap to set tall.
That was a dangerous pass. Not as tall.
The head tap is get the ball to Douglas Roberts at the top of the key.
Body strength. You know, he'll have problems on the defensive end, but on the offensive end,
you got guys that can make that shot. It's gonna be easy.
Collins on Rose. Rose
Horns,
shoot over the
little
top.
horn set here, and then he goes and clears it. So they get a big gap here.
Mark, could you freeze that for just a second right there?
On the floor with 2
Go back.
Sure. Where you want me to be?
Just right to where he makes the catch. I just want to point out, guys, where he catches it, that's a really good place to catch the ball. You know, we ran a little action where our 5-man will go elbow and then pop back to there. They ran that out of a pick and pop. Same idea. You got a really strong right-handed driver, and you got a corner shooter here, and you've got a post that's got to deal with that guy coming across defensively. That's a tough guard right there. So the more you can get players out on that. Now notice, look at how many blue shirts you have flooded to the ball side. You know, especially against the teams that are pretty well coached, that are gonna, you know, get to the ball side and try to build a wall. This is kind of action you got to have in your advanced pieces to deal with some of these things, and so I really like that spot. I wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I think my video's frozen. There we go.
He penetrates.
That's good stuff.
With 2 fouls.
Yeah, Kurt made a good point. They get it at the top of the key, like straight on with the rim.
Regard to 3 points, neither team's got a 3-point.
From like Iverson to a ball screen there. It's a little bit of
Kansas lose ball games. They have
there's an X cut.
Taggart's back in there again. He has.
So they're not just running just pure drive and kick. They're running some actions to give guys the ball.
Big time four now for the Jayhawks.
Standard out of bounds play, send one.
Chalmers hits the deck. That brings Robinson
top of the key drive.
On Rose.
Bad shot.
Shot.
Getting the ball.
Stays with Memphis.
We got a question.
Now with Robinson back on him, Collins taken out of the game. Memphis has missed its last 4 shots. He took advantage of that matchup earlier. Gives it up to Taggart.
Sam, it might be lagging a little bit. My internet is bad at the moment
for
some reason.
Influenced the shot. Long rebound. They're doing a much better job than is Memphis, distributing the ball inside.
A little ball screen.
7-0 run for the Jayhawks as Rose had the open look. And that's going to be Dorsey over the back. Unlike in the case of the Kansas big men coming in, they not only can steal minutes, they can put some points on the board.
Straight to the top of the key.
Make sure nobody else of size gets in foul trouble. 310 pounds of space in there for Memphis. As back, it's the shot, and it's wide.
They push cut.
And Collins back in the game. Let's see if Rose takes it and tries to get a mid-range jump shot off.
See, they always get it back to him.
There it is. Kicks it out on the wing.
Hit 2 threes in a row here.
Yes. Chalmers trying to see some officiating there. Dozier was trying to draw the charge.
Just clear dribble drive, get in the paint. Kick to the open man.
Set up the easy putback. Dozier with a 3. So 2 quick threes. Overtime. Who did Larry Brown coach? Kansas for a win.
Not the play you showed the other night, Brett Brown. Ghost screen to a down screen. And then a cross screen.
So it is amazing the connection between those two schools, and I guess most of it started with
getting in the rim.
He went to Kansas and played
with length.
What a shot. Flying to the lane. Shot wild. Rose snaps it back out. Douglas Roberts for the lead right back. Memphis in front by is all the Memphis big men step back. So again, great presence of mind. Strong young player takes it up. Adjusting in midair. He really did, Jim. He adjusted, figuring he's going to pass.
They're running some post options for guys that want to use their post. So giving us some post options.
But you can't wait on referees' calls if you're a player. By the time you're turning around and looking, the other team is going to take advantage. 5 minutes to go in a thrilling first half. Memphis had an early 6-point lead. Now back in front by 1.
Did he play in the league very long?
Douglas Roberts has scored the last 7 Memphis points, and again, they called that last jumper a 2, not a 3. So the game's
ball screen. Another one. Running ball screen.
Anderson, who's already hit one, not this time. That's Dorsey tapping it last. Oh, he lost the handle. That's all right, he can pick it up. He was a little skittish about it. No, but that's all right. A loose ball, he can pick it up. He can't advance it, but he can pick it up. He wasn't sure himself.
Not quick. Nope. Quick to kick back, throw it back to him.
You see him hesitate. Yeah. Big screen there. Good help by Alden. Douglas Roberts again. Long rebound out. He's only 1 out of 4 from the floor tonight. And Jim, it's not only the shots. He's not.
Mark, at this point, Vance is
the elbow. Get him.
NCAA tournament games, making him tough to guard. Here he comes.
Vance with what?
What we call streak.
Yeah, he would
bad
say,
misses.
Yeah. You want to explain what that is?
Well, streak is just, the 3 bad possessions, 3 misses in a row. You could make it 4, you could make it 2. Usually I think it was 3 that Vance said, where you go down and you don't get something 3 consecutive possessions. Streak for him was get the ball to your best player, run your favorite set, certain actions, but he had a control mechanism built into the flow that he didn't want to get those bad possessions to continue to multi-gat up, and so he would call that. And so I think all of us have a special call, favorite play, something like that kind of takes away, because I think dribble drive is a let them have more control, you lose control, but there are those little aspects of bringing them back together.
Players from Memphis and the Kansas fans rise to their feet. Rock chalk Jayhawks are screaming.
Kansas did a good job of making them play out of
lost the
that.
handle over there. Jayhawks 25 the other night against UCLA. It became much more difficult to guard because he didn't come down the court and just give it up. I think Collins is in his head a little bit. Collins has come in, locked down. The only basket he missed off of Robinson. They got 15 on the shot clock. I was surprised here that they taking this kind of time off the clock because they're going to have to give it back to Kansas anyway. Rose stuck time and the ball right back to him. Taggart was open. Down the floor. Still didn't get the shot, so Anderson has to take it. And again, Memphis able to get the loose. Scoring in the game. 7 different players that led them in rebounding in the game. What they have right now is an 8-0 lead with bench scoring. A big advantage for Kansas.
First time Memphis has trailed in the second half of the NCAA tournament.
And the 2 championships that Kansas has won. In '52, they had a big lead over St. John's. And remember, it was 50-50 in that Kansas-Oklahoma special game that Danny Manning pulled off.
Never forget it, 20 years ago tonight. Rose gives it up.
They very rarely have a strong side corner.
There it was. Didn't come back hard to the ball. Nice job by Anderson.
That 50-50 halftime in '88, Billy, was the 50th Final Four on top of it.
That's right. And you know what I said? There's no way Kansas can win a game against Oklahoma playing at that pace. They came out in the second half and continued right on going.
83-79. They got Danny Manning, of course, on the bench here tonight. Ball gets away. That's touched by Kansas in the backcourt, but only 12 on the shot clock.
Ball in the hands of the right guy.
There he is, over to Dozier. 5 now on the clock. Anderson on the wing. And what a start to the half.
Alaska. Remember Trajan Langdon, the great Alaskan player that went to Duke. So
to drop to a flash. Let's watch that one again. That's some really good drive right there that you don't see every day. That was a low. So we got a kickback.
Alaskan player that went to Duke. So
drop.
Interesting to see 2 guys that
watch this great cut.
Opportunity final four play out of Alaska.
And Anderson going to the line for the lead.
First time I saw a back door and then got some.
Stay with the man-to-man. This team is playing extremely well in it.
Another inside basket by Kansas. Jayhawks have hit only 1 3 in the game. That by Chalmers.
Beautiful step
Good.
out.
Dozier passes up the 3. That shot blocked.
That was rushed.
I don't know why sometimes he does that on occasion.
That shot blocked.
That was rushed. They got a piece of it.
Now they're playing.
Douglas Roberts.
This is that penetrate and kick offense. Terrific defense by Rush. The numbers here.
This takes middle. This is Douglas Roberts. Dozier. Dozier a second time. No whistle. And Jackson Russell.
The numbers here.
Takes middle. This is Douglas Roberts. Dozier. Dozier a second time. No whistle. And Jackson Russell. Chalmers with a 3 on the wing. That's wide and long.
And coming right back the other way.
Anderson looking back for Rose.
Okay, there's
Nick.
This is just pure blood drills right here. Talk about this. You don't want to throw straight line passes. So guy steps up, throws it up. If he throws it straight, he doesn't have that shot.
And the lead. With that pullback layup. I'm surprised
Iverson cuts. Another. Get him the ball.
He's asking for a screen.
I believe they play boxing 1 in this game too.
Rose with 3 on the shot clock. Tough shot. And it's off the rim. Still looking for
offense without the screens because he's being double teamed by good big men every time there's a solid screen coming. Here's the screen. Watch the hedge. Now he's double teamed.
Pick and pop.
He takes the ball out of his hands.
Kansas adjusting magnificently. 5 seconds to go. Shot clock. Rose. Douglas Roberts to Dozier. 1 second.
Beautiful move.
In time, but no, it's long. North Carolina had 10 of his 12 against the Tar Heels after the intermission.
If we talk about lead changes in that North Carolina game, there were 0 lead
Throw it back, a cut, down the
trail. Douglas Roberts working on Rush.
Nice body move.
So guys, I think that is planned. I don't think it's random for them.
Carolina had 10 of his 12
I
against the
think
Tar Heels.
anytime Rose or Roberts drive and they can't get there and they hit the next guy, it's almost mandatory for them to get back to the next guy to cut. So the guys that are initiating offense for them are 14 and Rose. Douglas, Roberts, and Rose.
Never trailed.
Mark, I don't know if they can notice, and some of the guys in the veterans, Kansas is giving them fits up top with those two guards. This is probably early. To me, that's an automatic where we would go to one guard front stuff right away. If you want to go back a little bit, Mark, on that same clip.
Yeah, they're just doing loops.
They're not really clearing that nail defender. Just go back to where there's two guys who are up top and they come down. See that right there? I mean, just right here.
Yeah, it's a no gap.
Constantly got stop it right there. It's right there. I mean, look at that. I mean, I don't know. You got this 5-man right here, guys. The adjustment you've got to make, and obviously this is early. You got to put this guy at the top of the key. You got to put that guy at the nail. You got to get into some 1-4 low. You got to through cut him. But just this right here is something that down the road that we're going to cover in our advanced part. But I think seeing it live right here for you is huge, because you got to move that guy. And if you don't, you look what Rose is dealing with every single time. And through the Sedarius through cut is one of the ways you could do it. I would study some Doug Novak, Bethel, and maybe Mark's clinic that he had with Doug. You check that out. It's worth any penny that you have to pay for it. But he puts guys on the nail and the top of the key and then adjusts based on the defense. And it gives that offensive player up top so much more room. There's just no room to go. And it gets frustrating.
Kurt, you think they're so reliant on having it in Roberts and Derek's hands that
I
the
think
guys
at that
really
point,
aren't drivers? So
I think at that point John didn't know. I really don't.
Simple.
I don't think he was far enough along in the DDM process.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't far enough. No, to just throw it to your 5-man here and cut through.
I just think all he was doing was loop cutting them through and then running some old set plays. He's running some floppy action there. He's running a couple guys off.
Yeah, he's pretty much running whatever. He's flowing in the dribble drive.
I mean, it's clearly dribble drive. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Look at it. There's no room.
You still got that shot. So there's the pass.
Analytics
the pass.
That shot happen.
So they're basically sagging and packing, right?
Yeah.
So there's
I don't think they backdoor cuts either. Now, here's one thing.
Anderson never looks to drive.
You want to pause? Okay. Here's something you guys got to remember, and this is higher level stuff. This is if you've got a bad drive, backdoor cut a bad drive, guys. If you want some good advice on how to run dribble drive, backdoor cut a bad driver. It gets them out of there. It gets you to your next action. But when you have bad drivers and they're either kicking up or staying home, it's just a jumbled mess. I'll type that in the box too. Keep going, Mark.
Okay.
All of these baskets by Kansas, close range. That's why I'm wondering why John Calipari isn't showing a little zone just to see what Kansas would do from the outside. Douglas Roberts back out to Rose for 10. Rose with 3 points on the night. 1 for 6 from the floor. Anderson. Rose is a great. Puts up the wild shot. And it's Memphis clearing.
There's where they're the best right there. That's just a straight go.
By as much as 5. Memphis with a couple of brief 1-point leads. Trying to go back in front on this possession.
They're set.
That ball off the foot of Douglas Roberts. He tried to save it. It'll go to
So right there is just a bad read. Okay? He is top lock denied. You got 4 players. You basically got 1 guy on the weak side guarding 3. But still have, so the drop would not have been open. They made a bad read. He needed to drive the opposite side of the floor. 5 needed to. So it was a set to go between a 2-man action between him and Douglas Roberts. But look how the defense is loaded. So you got to just retreat, dribble, snap it to 5, and play the 3-on-1 on the weak side.
That ball off the foot of Douglas Roberts. He tried to save it. It'll go to Kansas. 11 for Chalmers.
Another handoff play, same thing. They're loaded. 5 could sit right there in the paint and be wide open. So they're in a box of 1.
Not much movement by Memphis right now, and John Calipari says, are they playing us a zone? Trying to read it out. That was Rose. Robinson defending. They triple team him. Douglas Roberts gave it up quickly. Back to Rose baseline, and he's got another back. 12 points. Oh, and another Chalmers steal. Rush's first points of the half. Good recognition by Rush. Let's take a look at this. It looks like they're playing the zone. You don't see many cutters. They are playing the zone. First time tonight.
Finally figured it out.
Maybe even a box on 1 on Chris Douglas Roberts. He's over in the corner, but he's not moving, so you can't tell. That's what it is. A box and 1. As we move under 9 minutes on the night, we try to identify the nation's best. Dozier, whistle, basket counts, and he can top championship game appearance. All right, let's see the defense right now. It is. It's a box and 1, trying to take Chris Douglas Roberts' offense away. Chalmers is on it. Rose, 3.
4-point lead with 6 minutes.
He draws the assignment again on Rose. And they're back to a straight man-to-man now. Tigers getting more confident by the minute.
That basic push action.
Throws it back out to Douglas Roberts. Getting more confident by the minute, particularly this young man. Throws it back out to Douglas Roberts. Only to take Robinson. See, no screens. He's so much more effective when there are no screens. Tipped over to Robinson. Missing the short shot. Tipped over to Memphis. He pick up his dribble. Nice, smart play by Rose. You know what? There was nothing there. He's got a little bit of a working margin. Why make a bad play?
Kurt, I mean, we talked about this. Isn't it all 1-2 every time? Just to go into the 2 side every time.
There's a mismatch. Ken Arthur. Shift back into their matchups with Arthur on Dozier.
No through cuts. Just everything's a loop.
Kemp took it away.
Everything's a loop.
Second. Now Rose with 5 on the shot clock. He's got Jackson on him. Gonna step back, take the 3. Chasing it down, it's Dozier. He's got Jackson on him.
In the chat there about get the ball drive from the corner. The one time Douglas Roberts had it in the corner, he had a middle drive, got all the way to paint touch. I think again, I just don't think they were quite prepared for somewhat close athletically, not being able to just do that.
They're still up. They're still up 5 with 4 minutes to go.
There's no doubt.
They're up. They're up. Look at this. They're up 8.
Hey, Kurt, on that middle drive you were talking about,
Yeah.
You and I talked. They should have a backdoor cut and someone lifting. The backdoor cut would be on the strong side, right? Or,
are we talking about like from the wing middle drive?
well, I was just, once they break the glass, that was, yeah, I'm just trying to I'm very basic. You guys know a whole lot more than I do, but I'm trying to look for those 2 options when he gets to the middle.
Yeah, if he starts attacking middle, there wouldn't be a backdoor cut from the side that he was on. You know, if it's from the top slot, he attacks the middle, and you're going to have a guy lifting the window, you're going to have a post rotating. If it comes to the strong side, then you're going to have the backdoor cut.
You'll backdoor cut if he takes it more to the slot, more wider.
I guess I would say if you're on the right side of the top slot, you're driving the right lane line. That's when the backdoor cut will happen if you denial and hug.
Right.
Right now they're in a 1-2-3 zone.
Rebounds for Dozier. Working in the paint.
So he dribbled the ball. Oh my God. Sorry, guys.
9 rebounds for
Open,
Dozier.
great. Either shoot it or pass it. You don't need to dribble it.
Working in the paint. Whip it around Taggart.
So you're up 7 with 2 minutes to go.
Kansas, so we're still
And
one
you
away.
lose?
That last foul went against Thompson. And they're trying 3 on him.
They're trying to give it a foul right away.
They do. That's Rush reaching in.
ball here.
You're looking
Look at
out
that
here.
tape.
You probably want to put Taggart
Oh,
on the line.
Jesus
Thomas
Christ.
with the steal.
He got it over to Chalmers.
Well, that's Thursday's talk, right? Pressure.
They got it over to Chalmers. Back out. Big 3. Hits the
Down
shot.
4.
Makes the steal. Hits the 3.
Full court pressure here, Jim, and there's a quick foul, but what Memphis might be thinking about is going long.
Double team on Rose. Anderson gets rid of it in a hurry. Douglas Roberts, he wants to get to that free throw line.
You better be careful out there. You've got Chalmers and Robinson, 2 great stealers of the ball, double teaming him.
And a 35-second clock. Not
You've
just a
got an
30.
opportunity. Play just solid defense. 16 left in the shot
Oh,
clock.
man.
And Rose wants the ball in his hands like you called for.
Yeah, what they did, they went to a 1-4.
1-4, they
offense,
went
just
to
letting
it.
keep the ball.
Ball squirts out.
Last cut. So he can't get the touch on the inbounds pass.
Collins is defending Rose. Driving is Douglas Roberts. Shot.
Great job by Rush.
That was reviewed and taken away off the Rose shot again.
And they got the offensive rebound.
But it's Dozier keeping it for the Tigers.
Now they can hold it all the way here.
And a foul first. It'll send for the 2 seconds. Unbelievable. Dozier.
Okay, I'm going to say it. Less than 7 seconds left in the game. Up by 3. I foul.
Midcourt for the championship. No.
Foul, you don't lose.
Overtime in San Antonio. Arthur and
You
Dozier.
can shoot 2 free throws, miss one, and you can get the offensive rebound and score at the tie.
Now let's see the defensive setup right here. Collins is going to
That's
be
just
on
me.
Rose.
First overtime in the championship games in Arizona and Kentucky in 1997.
Middle of the floor.
Won by the Wildcats and Noodles.
Simon says game.
It says champion. That's what you said. Almost steal.
No gas.
That's examining it. At first they did maintain it was a 3. They reconvened, went back, and finally decided it was a 2. And on to overtime in this championship game. Now Dozier spinning, putting it up wildly on the floor. Jackson taps it over the paint. That basket is still shaking at the other end. Arthur has 20 on the night.
Douglas Roberts wants it, but he's up against a real good defender.
Douglas Roberts again. Rush with a hand in there. Anderson with a 3. Long.
But still just a 2-possession game.
Hold call first.
He needs to get into action right away.
Rose with the 3. Long. Swatted out to Douglas. Rose Rose with the three. Swatted out to Douglas Roberts. Nice save by Antonio Anderson. They've gone now over 6 minutes without a basket from the floor.
Taking too much time to get organized here.
Douglas Roberts wants it, kicks it. Dozier.
So your throwback.
Douglas Roberts, he'll step back for the three. And Jackson.
Poor defensive balance.
Rush broke early. Back up to 6.
Negative.
Now you got to go 3. Minute to go. Got to go 3. Douglas Roberts, here's you. Here's the shot. Got it.
Little handoff.
That ball up, you can get it.
He waited a while, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I thought he was threatening a 5 count.
Could have had a 5-second call.
Douglas Roberts short with the lay-in. Ball on the floor. Taggart tries to get it over to Rose. Kansas fighting for it too.
Good line off.
Arrow is going to Kansas.
Getting better movement.
Tight screen for Dozier on some kind of lob. They don't have it.
How about Rose? So close to seeing the dream become a reality. Rose with the 3. No.
One of the things about Westbrook, when
Do you want to show on the board or do you want to show a diagram or anything about what Rich or Coach Vasquez was asking about?
Yeah, sure. Let me get a fast draw set up here. I'm working on some
Or
stuff.
take any more? But it's interestingly, I only really saw them have a strong side corner like once or twice, and they went back door on it, and they got something. The rest of the time they went weak side every time.
Okay. I'll try to share my screen. Just go over a couple things.
While you're doing that, I think I might.
Got to give me permission to share.
You guys want to watch? Okay. Do you guys want to watch more of them, or do you want to watch somebody else? Anybody have any opinions?
Type it in the chat box, guys, if there's anything you want to see. Rick, talking to you here. If we get a drive right here down the slot, this is when that 2-man is going to make your back cut.
Right.
Okay. You know, and I'll try to use the right things here and go pretty quick so you guys can get back to your film study. But 2-man's going to set up the defender depending on how it is, whether it's a denial, a hug, or whatever. If they read, you know, X2 down here. Make sense? You know,
Right.
Or, up here, denial or hugging.
Right.
If they're flat, you know, you're going to get this player lifting. You know, they're gonna come up for a kick up if they're flat. And then the last part is if they're just terrible and they're down here, that's when then I think one of the coaches last week were talking about, you know, he gets kicked down sometimes. This is where we'd be okay with a kick down with X2 just being terrible, being lost.
Yeah, because Kansas was playing flat, right?
Yeah, Kansas was kind of here.
Clips.
And then they were trying to take away a little bit Douglas Roberts. They were a little bit more here for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest problem, and I'll try to show it quickly here, is this was the biggest problem was X5. And Calipari didn't quite know what to do with X5. He kept him out here. He ran him a couple loop cuts, but Kansas bump switched those a couple times where the X5 and X1 just switched. I think what you can do on that one, there's options. You can get him down here and go flat and then run him out to ghost. You can swing it, and then get it back to Rose. So, for example, like a 1-5-3, and then get it back to Rose right here in a spot where he can go right. But the other thing is maybe put him here or even put him lower here, where if Rose starts to go, X5's got to come over, and
he
he's
can
got to pop.
Right.
And then relocate, and then 5-man's going. And those are kind of the advanced things that we get into here in a couple weeks that are pretty cool. But yeah, Calipari just didn't know what to do with there. And then the last thing is I'd have ran Rose. If you guys have seen my Championship Productions 4X, 1X series, I would encourage you to watch it. But it ends up like this with a corner pick and roll, and we're spaced away. And what we end up with is a back screen and then a corner ball screen. I think Kansas would have had a ton of trouble with that. I don't know if they'd have been able to handle. It's a Tex Winter action. So 3-man cuts through, 4-man back picks, and then ball screens, and you'd have Rose coming here. I think that would have given them trouble. I really like getting the ball against teams like that down here and attacking middle from there. And I know that's kind of unconventional. A lot of people, gosh, you're going to drive out of the corners. I think when they're sagging and switching, yes, you do. I think when they're trying to pack paint, you want to get all their guys down here so that you're getting great looks from behind if they're going to help. And I would have done that into the ground in that particular game. Just go on to YouTube, type in 1X, 4X. I'll put it in the chat here in about 20 seconds. But watch it, and it's great action to kind of deal with what Calipari was dealing with there in that game. I'll stop my share.
Thank you.
So Darius, can you speak about posting after the pass rather than cutting same side corner? Novak concept. I think that only really works as if you're playing 5 out. If you're playing normal dribble drive 4 out 1 in, I don't think you can really pass and post too often. I think you'll clutter up. My opinion, you'll clutter up the lane. If you're doing Novak concepts, then yeah, it's great because he's more 5 out-ish, or he moves his post to the elbows. So what he's talking about is when you pass and you kick it, you kind of can post and get the ball back and play from there. So that's Novak posting concepts. Instead of passing and immediately filling, he posts. I think it's great, but normal traditional DDM kind of, I don't know if you can do it, I guess, but your post needs to be able to read and go high-low. That's just my opinion. All right. So we got, here they're playing UCLA. So let's see if UCLA played the nail defender the same way.
Westbrook had to become the point guard. It's made him so much more versatile, as you showed on that play.
This is the Final Four game.
On the other end, the matchup more than what I expected. On Anderson.
Spin move, Rose, and the freshman. Short off the front of the rim, Dorsey just throws it up wildly. Spin move, Rose, and the freshman. Short off the front of the rim, Dorsey just throws it up wildly.
Here you see that Collison-Rose matchup.
Here's the quick again.
Westbrook, he can
right
look
back.
anybody in the although he's 6'3", and Douglas Roberts about 6'5", and Westbrook looking
Always go away.
Dozier is going to drive on Mute, short with the bank shot.
I don't know if anybody can beat UCLA in the Final Four. I think he's that critical from the drop.
First 5 of the night go to the Bruins.
Top of
Now it's Douglas Roberts, the All-American. Jumper, yes.
One of the few guys in college basketball that can body up with Kevin Love and not be beaten.
Rose banks it home.
Any balance or rhythm to make him. Chip has come right out of the veteran that he is, looking to take jump shots.
His confidence has been so low here for over a month. But what a start here at the Final Four. Now Douglas Roberts again driving, and that's going to be a foul against.
Nice pump fake.
Dorsey to the floor, comes into the paint, back of the rim, no. Dorsey points ahead and says, take off. Anderson, here's the call.
I love the way that Memphis is pushing his ball up the floor to try to make this more of an 80-point ball game. And over there.
Not better. There's the stomp. So finally went left. Here's watch his foot. See how he steps forward. That step forward keys the cut.
Let Rose go ahead on Ship. I think that would be a better matchup.
And I don't know how Kurt feels about it. I think the guy out of the corner shouldn't be where he's at. But he probably doesn't get to the rim if he's where he should be.
Here's that driving ability, even against the defender.
Not Taggart.
They'll screen down post there.
Nice double down by Keith.
Here's Taggart with a 3, and look at the big man shoot.
shot as opposed to Love.
See, they don't have anybody on the nail. They didn't guard it like Kansas.
Easy shot inside.
So that allows that drive right there. Play off 2 feet, kick.
Taggart, same spot, short this time. Allison snags it. Number 1 handling the ball right now.
Nice step back, kept not ready to defend. And
See, to me, that's a drop.
that particular play, Taggart was taken out by John Calipari. He didn't like that shot selection either.
Douglas Roberts.
So far, Kemp taking a school on 2 plays defensively. Westbrook really took advantage of it.
Here he is again.
Tough shot.
That was a wild.
Some scoring. An opportunity here for Memphis to get a little bit of a margin.
Memphis has brought in 20. Donnell Mack can fire it up from 3. Tops on the team this year. 3-pointers made. It's Dozier pulling up with a jumper.
A lot of bad mid-range shots.
Inside for rebounding.
Entire field with Masters Extra at cbssports.com/masterslive and masters.org. Here's Rose.
Shoots right over the top.
Over the screen. Collison had a good look, but Taggart pulls down. Here comes Memphis up ahead quickly. Anderson with the 3. Rose comes in again with that strength.
He didn't realize he was open.
Over the screen. Collison had a good look, but Taggart pulls down. Here comes Memphis up ahead quickly. Anderson with the 3. Rose comes in again with that strength.
He didn't realize he was open.
Anderson with the 3.
I don't know why it keeps repeating the same clip.
He didn't realize he was open.
They blow to this team because he's an important backup at point guard.
Now here's the matchup I thought. It's Westbrook on Rose right now. He's got good size. And loves to sit down. A tremendous defender.
Rose over Westbrook.
A contested
To the Memphis
shot.
players, they're going behind those solid screens, and the UCLA guards are just turning the corner and going inside. Good recognition by UCLA.
Anderson. Love tips it right back to him. Here's Mack. He can fire the 3. Down and out. Pull down. Anderson. Love tips it right back to him. Here's Mack. He can fire the 3. Down and out. Pull down.
Kick back 3.
Anderson with a 3.
Why it keeps jumping like this.
Anderson with a 3. Well, that was wild. It got past everyone. Bounces right through lane, back out high.
Oh, it loads
Here's Mack floating through. Tipped up Dorsey. And
very experienced guards, very sloppy play. Here comes the screen on Collison. Nice step out by Love.
Here's the.
and a steal. 15 minutes.
Here's what happens when you don't have shooters on the
Very
floor.
experienced guards, very sloppy play. Here comes the screen
That's a shot.
on Collison.
Just where they're playing. Bluff stays, the guy's still in the paint. He throws it at the rim, the guy's still open. Still open. Now he's not.
And a steal. 15 minutes.
It did not come from the guard play, Jim. Now watch Love step out on these screens. That was a pick and roll.
Taggart puts up the shot with the left hand, and Dorsey maintains possession.
That was a pick and roll.
Taggart puts up the shot with the left hand, and Dorsey maintains possession for Memphis. Dorsey with 6 rebounds. Here's Kemp. Stuck? No. Finds Taggart.
All these layups in there.
Follow up Dorsey, no. No. Finds Taggart. Over Love. Follow up Dorsey, no.
Points.
Follow up Taggart. 3 to go in the first half.
Kemp back here with Collison. Advantage Collison. Rose on the
There's
bench.
an actual middle drive. Held it.
Anderson wants a little bit of
There was a
shoot
post up after a pass.
Feeds it to Taggart over Monterreal.
Oh, the guys are slipping quite frequently. Boy, Taggart getting good setup on the inside. Anderson wanting a screen.
Anderson short with the shot.
Moving up down the court quickly. Kevin Love likes to play in the half-court situation. His game has basically not been played that way. Oh, nice step under.
And Collison collides with Greg Lee.
Horn.
Three pretty fair players.
Yeah, and the first player from any program since
Good
Andre
ball,
Hudson and Charlie Bell of Michigan State. Back in 01. Can't leave him open.
One of 22 in the field.
Oh, that spins out on Westbrook. Underneath, Memphis comes out with it again. It's CDDR.
Goes Anderson.
Trying to take middle, but Collison shut off the angle.
Collison has blazing speed. His parents both sprinters. He got
Horn.
back and stymied what could have been easy.
Goes in a small.
Billy, do you sense
Pop.
it's a dangerous time right here with 2.5 to go for the Bruins? Oh, Collison tries to make the steal.
Gets those double teams by the Memphis big people because that'll get the ball to
Floppy.
Do you sense it's a dangerous time or not?
Not yet. Yes, I think that UCLA is an experienced club. They've got Love back in the ball game and he's fresh. They got to get the ball someone on offense.
Memphis has had some big closes to first halves this year. Here's Douglas Roberts swatted away by Love. Love comes out high now, goes back down into the paint. Close in on Taggart. Takes the jumper over.
Very little offensive rebounding threats for Memphis.
Rose getting away from
Loader.
Collison. Now over Love. Oh, wow. The pass Collison.
Okay. Nobody in the nail. So they're wide. He has room to operate. He has a big double gap right corner top. So he's able to.
You're talking about Rose putting on a show.
Now you guys got to decide whether you're going to live with that. I don't think this player should be here. He should be over here. Then you can get a downhill drive.
Right here against one of the quickest.
And they're
defensive
way
guards
more
in the
athletic.
country.
They're NBA players.
On the losing side.
Yep, an undefeated North Carolina team coached by Frank McGuire. Played 2 games in the Final Four, both triple overtimes, beating Michigan State in the semis.
Taggart regains the hand, gives it up. Douglas Roberts for Westbrook. And the Bruins tip it around and keep it. Nope. On the floor, Dozier. Pass deflected. And Love says for Westbrook. And the Bruins tip it around and keep it. Nope. On the floor, Dozier. Pass deflected. And Love says for Westbrook. And the Bruins tip it around and keep it. Nope. On the floor, Dozier.
Got no help. There was no double down in there, so he had him all by himself.
Memphis was blazing early in this game from the floor, but missed 20 of its last 27. Bob Moute had UCLA's first basket, but this is his last 5 shots, and this will send Rose.
The difference of the spacing on the floor between the Kansas game and the UCLA game. Strong side corner. Let some drive. They're not just initiating with a wing pass. They're letting him play.
Basket, but this is his last 5 shots, and this will send Rose. That's it. Love, he can shoot the 3, and that rattles out. Rose crashing in for the rebound. Again taken off. Ball got away from him.
Good hands by Taggart.
Dozier. Flip shot back to the rim. Drops.
Transition.
Of size that can throw the outlet pass.
Nobody in the nail.
Like Love can. He looks for it all the time. Good breakout. There, you have the size differential again, Jim.
Douglas Roberts and Collison.
Just too much length.
And again, the for a digit lead.
This is a better matchup for you.
Every time that guy passes it, they get it right back to him.
UCLA. Chip at least has some size.
Lob underneath. Low. Collison lost the dribble. Dozier flips it ahead.
Ability to finish.
15 for Westbrook. And a UCLA team that hasn't panicked all season when it's faced a double-digit deficit in the second half, and particularly even late in the year. 6 double-digit comeback wins. Douglas Roberts off balance.
Nice down in the low paint with the ball.
Rose wants it again. Gives it up to Taggart. Takes the 3, and he...
Every time down the floor.
Love with the outside shot. Missed 2 from that same spot. Flying through is Collison. Make the steal. And the arrow belongs to...
UCLA needs to get this ball game played on the glass. Get down inside with it. The perimeter favors Memphis.
Double up on Rose. Ball squirts out to Dozier.
Only played 8 times in the history of that. D. Smith never wanted to play against Kansas.
Okay. East-West. Didn't get a piece of paint. Here we go. Let's see.
Of course, there's so
They
many.
won't allow that guy to dribble. Throw back, through cut. Now that should create the gap. He didn't attack it. That was a drop.
Two teams in regard to coaches and star.
Oh, look. Here we go.
Between those two teams, and
It's going to be should be a layup.
regard to coaches and star players.
Third time, though, they'll make
There's your Novak principle right there. He passed and he posted.
And the kick.
Jim.
I think for a guy that's averaging 18 a game, they find a way to get him somehow a little more involved.
Back in the post.
While Rose
So nice still post ball.
exclusively at this end. Crashing in, Dorsey puts it on the floor. Exclusively at this end. Crashing in, Dorsey puts it on the floor.
Get moving.
And again, Collison and Westbrook help.
Surprised there was a double.
Rose works his way in to the lane. Spin with the left hand. No, gets a second chance underneath.
Do not understand why Love is not getting the touches. He only has 3 shots in the second half.
They choked it. They went 3 side for once off of a loop.
In the second half.
Lob, and it got away from Dorsey.
Going to have to step up and start looking for some baskets.
17 for Westbrook. Here's Taggart back on the floor.
I talked about this on one of mine. No one talks about drops up top. So a Princeton concept here is, okay, post should be relocating to this block. That could have been a backdoor because he's being hugged in the 2 corner. And you'd have a nice bounce pass. But he stopped.
Great matchup here. Showing some respect for Westbrook.
Anderson.
Tough shot.
Open and look for some shots.
Westbrook pass picked off by Dorsey. Snaps it up ahead to Douglas Roberts. Back over Anderson.
Nice idea.
The trailer Taggart. Gives it to the last man down the court, Rose. And that's a foul against Monterreal. No field goals for Ship since 3.5 minutes into the game. He hit those 2 early threes.
How about the knowledge of Rose right there? Realizing the break wasn't there, pulled it back out.
Rose. Monterreal says, let's go to the...
Probably probably stay out for the 5-minute mark.
Westbrook will have to handle it at the point. Keith has come in, replaced Collison on the floor. And Douglas Roberts again gets the shot off. And it's tipped out going to UCLA. It was on Rose. He has 2.
Size-wise, the matchup's much better for UCLA. Collison out of the ball game.
Anderson cutting through. Tipped out to Dozier. Anderson cutting through. Tipped out to Dozier.
Go out.
UCLA 3 out of 10 from 3 in this game.
Handoff to one-on-one.
Douglas Roberts. Good block. Top block.
And with any movement.
That's
That's what's frustrating about watching. And they
John Keller.
should have won a national championship.
Now, if you're Memphis, you don't want to become too patient here.
They've missed their last 5 from the floor.
Rose. Good block out by
How many
Love.
straight 5-foot, 6-foot floaters with a guy all over them they've missed in a row.
And they misfired on both.
Well, the Texas players are probably saying, and Michigan State players, how come we didn't see some looks like that?
Memphis has not made a shot now in over 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
And that's a hand to the face. It'll be called on Ship.
Credit Dorsey for that, because he's been pushing him on both ends of the floor all night.
Been leaning on him all evening.
Kick back. There.
Back door they go.
Jesus. Thank you. One back door. I've seen back doors twice in our whole film study, and they led the basket.
Back door they go.
If I can give you anything, go back door.
Memphis fan when Rose has that ball in his hands. John Calipari wanting to work a little clock and make UCLA really have to run on defense. It's a big solid screen.
He got away. Got into him on the blocks. Love defending and blocking. Love defending and blocking. 2 on the shot clock. Douglas Roberts realizes it.
Jim forces the ball blocked in one end. He is just playing really great team ball. Terrific hustle on his part. Had caused some problems for John Calipari in his career earlier, but he's showing leadership out there now.
Collison goes for the steal. Has to be careful with the 4 fouls. Rose.
How did he
Got
get
the
it off?
spin from the Brewers.
Now, Collison and Westbrook both trying to take things one-on-one. You don't want to be reaching against Rose.
Why would Collison?
Shaky pass.
They almost were able to get a hand on it. When will they start fouling Memphis and making them earn it at the stripe again? We've got 2.5 to play.
Spacing should be scary for you, and they have to start trapping you.
Not the guy you want to put on the line, though, if you had to choose one.
If it touches anybody else, you got to go after them. They don't.
Dozier.
Ball right to the hoop.
Pull up 3 instead.
That's a push by Keith. Gets away with it.
Keith has it taken away. Douglas Roberts will be shooting at the other end.
Coming into this ball game with under points, and he's 64-2 in those games. Obviously, wasn't able to do it here.
So that was, I mean, you could see the difference between 2 teams, guard nail and no nail. I don't know why they don't use drops, especially with their athleticism and they're being top locked, denied. It's dunks, it's lobs, it's tee-ups, it's opposite corner threes. I think over my years of doing it, the hardest thing to do is to get your kids to go back door, though. I mean, that's why in the teaching process, early on, I would go over drops. Like when you do the drop zone, I would go over going back door and teach your kickups last. I'm not sure how Kurt does it, but that's kind of how I do it for sure. The last thing I want to show is kickups.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the experience of your team. How far along are you in the process? That kind of stuff. And there's a little personnel-driven piece to it. You know, how good is your two? Maybe your two's a left-handed driver, and you want him kicking up more than you want him dropping. But just know it's going to get in one man's way. And if one is an average driver, you know, and then, you know, again, I said it earlier, versus a bad drive, send that guy back door. Or, you know what, flip it to the two and get out of the way and let the two run it. There's ways that you can do it. And so, you know, we're gonna cover some of that on drills. I'm pretty pumped. I'm working on that, you know, kind of cleaning up the last little bit. And there's some stuff in there that I think is going to go deeper than just we'll cover the Wahlberg 45.
Here's what they were doing.
Dive
do run it quick.
I think it's a really secret sauce.
It's Dozier. Short shot back of the rim.
Trying to give you guys the very best.
Dorsey.
The teams that I coach get it. You know, just
the third guard, but Mason plays so much
when you do run Memphis, just to show you what it's supposed to kind of look like, is if you're not trying to just give it back to the guy that has the ball.
He's a finalist for the Wooden
If he goes middle, this player should be filling behind. So that could be an option. But as he's getting in the middle of the lane, this player should be even with the ball. And now this player's coming out of the corner, and this one would have been relocated. The advantage of running quick,
there's the tough matchup right there, size-wise.
We enter the ball there, let's say the point guard went away, and we go tilted court.
Dozier and Dorsey have to realize that actually is trying to help out all he can. This Douglas Roberts. Now Rose driving into that game.
So if he goes baseline,
not a good look at it yet.
This player still goes.
Yeah, Jim, there's a size differential.
Probably maybe stays, and you go tee up. That's the difference of not having a corner player.
Actually, about the same
like
size
most people will run it. So I had a call. We called it quick. We had a really good player in the corner, or he hasn't touched the ball, or that was a mismatch. Kind of like what they did.
He's paying that back line, so this is not a big zone.
You set it up by coming and getting the basketball. And your point guard cuts and goes opposite.
Roberts, that long rebound bouncing out to Abrams. Rebound bouncing out to Abrams.
My buddy keeps telling me, keeps texting me,
he pulls up that shot blocked by Rose.
How Anthony Davis is so soft.
Plays off the big, doesn't he?
What he did, I mean, maybe soft, but he just did a hell of a shot.
Mark, can you mute
What was that?
the Memphis game? Can you mute the Memphis game? We're still hearing that.
You can't hear me?
No, sir.
Oh, let me mute it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mute the Memphis game.
Let me mute it.
Memphis can
Let
get
me turn it down.
some offensive rebounds.
Can you hear me now?
Shooter out here on the wing.
Yeah, we're still hearing the Memphis game.
Oh, my fault.
Goes ahead and takes.
There. I thought you meant the game that was on TV.
No, sir. We good now.
I'm sorry. Thank you for that. All right. So stop share. Share my screen. So you got to decide. I mean, there's the traditional dribble drive fills corners. There is a place to go opposite. Robert asked a question the other night, or to me, what if you're running a lot of kickdowns? So kickdowns, so he was getting in here and he wasn't letting his player come up, or the player wasn't coming up, he wasn't cutting back door, so they were throwing it. If you get in that situation, I would start looking at making the guy go that way. Because now you have, he can go baseline or he can go middle. If your player kicks down and goes here, and they play defense, no middle, it's going to be really hard for your offense is going to die. And you're gonna, the way you fix it is you're gonna have to go up, over, through, and now you're like that. That's how you would fix it. But I'm different than Memphis. I'm different than Fresno City. I don't like to play catch hold. I like to play catch, shoot, or catch, pass. I like to play drive, shoot, pass. I don't like to sit there and catch it and analyze it. And maybe wasn't as good as Calipari with it, where he was doing this every time. So this is what they were doing every time with Douglas Roberts in this situation. If Douglas Roberts went middle and he didn't get anything, he threw it. This player would dribble over. Douglas Roberts would come back out, and they would get it back to him immediately, and this player would go here. They didn't have any of that, and we don't know that. Off of that, it's great. If you want to do that, now you can get into some Doug Novak fan, or you can go through, and now you got a huge gap to get downhill, and you guys got to get rotated around, figure it out. So, I don't know if Kurt wants to add anything on that one, but that's what Memphis was doing against Kansas. Was they weren't ever really filling the court. They weren't ever really running pure dribble. They were running dribble drive concepts, but they were never filling strong side corners. They very rarely in that game had a strong side corner.
They looked like, to me, they were very early. To me, that would be a team that isn't quite all the way either bought into it, or maybe all the way installed, or athletically they just were so superior at most times. And remember, I think the thing that maybe be underlined into that whole thing is most people weren't necessarily great at guarding it yet. That's something that you started to see about 2010, 2011, 2012. Teams started packing it in. Remember, this is pre-pack line. Dick Bennett was still Dick Bennett, but I don't think it had taken off like it had taken off in the last, let's say, 5 to 7 years, where pack line is probably every other defense you see, or at least 3 or 4 teams in your conference are running it. So I think you could have been sloppy in your dribble drive. You could have, with Derrick Rose up top and Douglas Roberts, and I think that you don't really need to go too far beyond it. And we don't know what's going on in practice either. You just never know. He's trying, and they just can't do it. And we've all been there. It's like we're trying something, and if Derrick just goes, and the guys know that Derrick's just going to go, and so they just kind of end up, standing there. So
I'll do another one of these one night where I've done it before, where I kind of show my team back in the day running it, so you can see more. It's more, we're getting our shots off penetration in the paint, kickouts. We're not shooting 10-foot, 12-foot mid-range over guys. We're flowing it. We're going multiple penetrations. We're doing things that I just wanted to show you. My thing with a lot of this is I like looking at how everybody runs it, and learning off of it. It was, at times, I don't know how you guys felt, it was hard to watch. It was just, I have a joke with it. It just looked like, they used to call what Memphis ran the T-Haw offense. THA, take his ass. That's what the offense basically was. They tried to get in an advantage situation, get the ball to CDR and D Rose and say, hey, go win it. Which, hey, up 8 with 2 minutes to go, kind of got them into that situation. But I don't know. I got to go look at stats. I know Calipari said it. I know Wahlberg said it. 28% shooting percentage from from 5 feet to 17 feet, Kurt?
Not very good.
Yeah, and that's why. They weren't. Vance was probably going like this, watching
Oh yeah.
all those shots, and
yeah.
And then he told him, you better start recruiting shooters.
And that's, to me, why Miami is such a tough out. Watching the Heat is you've got Jimmy Butler that can kind of get in there and suck some people down, but the fact they have Robinson and Hero, who are very active, so they're not just sitting in a corner like I think Corver did for Miami a little too much. I don't think they moved Corver enough. They moved him some, but the fact that Hero and Robinson are constantly moving makes those other guys better. Because I tell you, you watch them play defense. I don't know if those two guys could stop me, but they can shoot it. I mean, they're terrible defenders, but in the NBA, that ability to stretch the floor is unbelievable.
I think if they would have had some of the wave actions and stuff and get the ball back to Derrick Rose on the 3 side with a live dribble after a double blast cut to the corner with CDR in that opposite corner where he can read drop or kick up, and now he's getting it on a live catch and he's getting downhill. So now they're playing off of triple gaps between each other instead of double gaps. But Kansas played hella defense. And he's struggled to beat Phil Self. I think he beat him once with Kentucky, but so you guys got a little bit to see of that. You've seen.
They just threw that 1X, 4X in there.
That would have been a killer.
I don't think they'd have had an answer for that. I think they'd have had to go zone.
That's your pass through.
Yeah, just
back screen, ball screen, right?
Yeah, it's just swing, swing it again, get the ball to the baseline corner, kind of a ball side shuffle, and then ball screen the corner and roll that guy to the dunker spot and let Rose go from that corner. I don't know what Kansas would have done there. I think they'd had to go zone.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the next 9 weeks or next 9 sessions are going to just build upon what we've done and put the bigger picture for some of you guys that are in the class. Tomorrow is going to be really good with drills. I know Kurt has a bunch of new ones. I have some new ones. I have my stations, ball handling, shooting, finishing stations, and that you guys can take out with your teams. A lot of them, you don't have to have your whole team. You can do them in small groups. So it's out there online too, but I use the Dr. Dish DDM shooting drills that we have pre-programmed. So you can see those if you've never seen those. I don't have the film of it, but I have the diagrams of it. So it's out there online too. If you do Dr. Dish shooting drills, it will show up in a PDF file. So it's nothing. A lot of this stuff I've found by research. Some of it's I created and tweaked. But a lot of this stuff is out there. It's just finding it. So, but that's what I kind of have. Kurt, you got anything else?
No, I'm super pumped for tomorrow. I mean, I think it's if you were going to just buy one, if I'm just some guy on the outside, it would have to be that, tomorrow. But it doesn't fit into context unless you get them all. So, I'm working on it as we're kind of.
And then I also have something to share with you guys that Scott Peterman wrote. If you guys know who he is with ebooks, he has not released it yet. He may have released it. I think he's releasing it tomorrow. But he put together, so kind of concurrently with what we're doing. He's releasing an ebook tomorrow with breakdown drills in an ebook format. A lot of them we have already that we're going to show you. But I have that. I can offer that to people. That's his. He wrote it. I've become pretty good friends with him. I've done business with him. I did a blog and wrote stuff for him. My ebooks was produced or published by him at the start. So he's a good guy. So tomorrow night at 6, If you guys want to send me an email or get a link, if you're not enrolled in anything or have any questions, want to talk about the course, there's that. You can even give me a call if you have questions about the course. There you go. There's my email. There's my phone number. I'm here in California, West Coast Pacific time. So it's 7:20 my time. If I don't answer a call, just text me or email me. Usually I respond to it within minutes. I'm fired up for tomorrow too. So, I mean, me and Kurt need to figure out, I don't know if we have so much content that we want to get to. We got to figure out what we're going to keep in there and what we're going to take out. So, it could be a long one.
The big thing, Mark, to share with these guys before we get out of here is just that the things that you're going to want to look for tomorrow, you're going to get the normal Vance stuff, and we'll give you points of emphasis that are important, but there's a couple in there that you're not going to see in Peterman's book. There's a couple that you won't find in too many places. If you dug deep and you knew the right guy to watch, I think that to me, and I don't want to say this in a way that makes me sound, because I'm not very smart. My wife will tell you that, is just the things that I think have really helped grow our dribble drive, just the kids get it better. And we all know that you got to have players that can make plays, and you could run dribble drive with a bunch of bad players, and it probably won't be very good. but we're trying to give you the full meal deal here and give you our very, very best stuff. And I think you're going to see some stuff that's different, unique, and some points of emphasis just from the experience that we've had running it for, combined probably about 30 years of between the both of us running dribble drive in some way, shape, or form, from very basic to more advanced.
Yeah. I mean, it took me, even though we went 24-5 in my second year. Was it my second year? Second year running it. Third year running it. It took me about the fourth season to really start focusing on the skill development part. Because we could create all the gaps in the world. You can create all the gaps in the world. And if your kids cannot finish, they cannot shoot, and they cannot make decisions when they pick up the ball in the paint, those are the biggest three things I think kill dribble drive. I'm not a big fan of what Memphis did. Kurt may be. I know it's the big fad, but the spin move in the lane, that puts your four-man in a weird, well, which way are you going to go when you're always spinning back into me? And if you got a talented guy where they can do the little spin move like LeBron does and finish, it probably doesn't matter if you're running dribble drive or not. It doesn't matter what you're running. You're probably winning a lot of games if you have Derrick Rose or LeBron James. The majority of you guys are probably high school coaches or college coaches that do not have necessarily the top elite talent, but you still got to find ways to win. And I honestly think it's easier to run dribble drive against teams that are pressure and get up all in you and crazy. The disciplined defensive teams are the ones that are in help side or pack line or whatever. Those are the tough ones. The more athletic teams that you play against that aren't disciplined, even though you may not be athletic, you'll destroy it. Because they're trying to block everything, they're running at you. And that's just my experience with it, is that the disciplined defensive teams are the hardest ones for me to go against, not the real athletic get up and play you. Those are the teams that I actually have to get it in my kids' heads that after the first few possessions, when we've done a few actions and we drop them, and they go, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So tomorrow night is drills. Thursday night is pressure defense this week. And then if any of you guys want a freebie clinic that we're doing too, I do one or two a week as well. Tuesday night at 6 is Joe Kuhn pack line defense. So you guys have a great night. Send me an email if you have any questions, concerns, comments, and I will see the people that are in the class tomorrow night at 6. So you guys have a great night and a great week. I'll talk to you later, Kurt.